Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's the Talk About It podcast. I'm Lauren Fulmer.
I'm Victor Dantas.
And today we're very excited. It's our first time having two guests. We have Scott and Melany Baldwin with us. How are you doing, guys?
Terrific.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Sure.
We're excited to have you here. We're going to talk about coffee, maybe some customer service, life, and just whatever else that comes out of our mouth throughout the next little bit. But why don't you go ahead and start? Some folks may not even be familiar with who you guys are. Why don't you just do a little introduction?
The long and winding road.
You guys killed it.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
That happened on Route 34, about 8 miles west of Galesburg.
Nice.
On the way over, we said, how do we answer the question? Tell us a little bit about yourself. and we both spontaneously did that. So we're like,
fun.
let's just do that again.
You guys killed it.
That's crazy. That's
Well,
nice.
yesterday was our daughter's 36th birthday, so we had the pipes cleaned for that, and
Yeah. We always do the birthday drawing.
Yes. You sing the whole happy birthday?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then who brings in that and many more?
That's
Anyone
me.
do that?
Channel 4.
Yeah.
Channel 4.
Yeah, we always do.
And then depending
Yeah.
on who it is.
Right. Yeah. Well, good. Besides that.
Yeah.
But really, so you guys have a coffee shop with a drive-through location and a regular setup.
Yep.
But in general, let's talk Orange Cup.
Yep.
Great.
So, Orange Cup started at a dinner at Lake Bracken Country Club 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Joe and Gail Mangieri, a couple other owners were running it at the time, and we're at dinner, and I excused myself after a very brief conversation with Joe and Gail that they were selling the business. I excused myself to go to the restroom. True story. I came back to hear Melany say, "We'll buy that." I didn't know if we were buying a car, a bicycle, a house, a business. I didn't know what we were buying. So she had it all wrapped up. She had on her phone already the financials from Joe, and that was in
2017.
May, maybe something like that. By June or so, we had closed on it in 2017. So I'd like to say that we had on paper a real solid plan, and it started in 2017, and then we would do this in 2022 or 23, and it was nothing like that. We just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
So I didn't realize that was the Mangieri's before.
Yeah.
I had no idea. Now we're talking about the drive-up location,
Yes,
right?
correct. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
didn't know that. You
So
did.
what did you know about coffee before this, other than maybe you enjoy a cup or two?
Well, so I have a little bit more to add to his story. We've been married 8 years, June 18th. And so we had just moved to Galesburg, and we had a couple things simultaneously happen, literally within a couple days of each other. Sadly, my son passed away in California, and we got married within 2 days of that, because we were going to get married at the hospice center where my son was, but he didn't make it to our wedding. And so we got married at the hospice center anyway. And so shortly after we got married, we moved to Galesburg for the first time. Scott was born, raised, went to Knox, all of that. I was living in California at the time, and just moved to Galesburg and with my new husband, just kind of as a new adventure. And he had a lake house out at Lake Bracken. We'd go there on the weekends and just, decided that this is a great place. We're both working remotely, so why don't we just be in Galesburg? So in California, I was used to going to a coffee house for work, working remotely, wherever I was, could work remotely. And, that's when I met Mary down at Beehive. Wonderful, love her dearly. And I would go through and drive through Java Station. And so I met, at that time, I guess they had 7 baristas there. And those girls were my friends because I didn't know anybody. Scott knew everybody. And of course, he introduced us to everyone, or me to everyone. But just like happens now, I would go drive through, sit. When I talked for a little bit, they made my day. And they knew my drink when I would come up. They knew who I was. And, that was just an important thing. So Java Station at that point filled such a giant hole in my life that when I learned that Joe and Gail were selling it, the first thing I was questioned was, what's going to happen to the girls? You know, what's going to happen to the baristas? I was literally freaking out. And so when they said that they were going to sell it, I asked if they had financials. They were tweaking along but doing okay. And we're like, we can do that. Let's buy that. And so he got up and went to the restroom. And then he
Last
came
time
back.
that's ever happened.
And that's true. And he came back and he heard me say, you know, we'll buy that. And it was just that compelling to me because I wanted to preserve those jobs so much and preserve my friends there. you
Right.
know?
Right.
So that's how the beginning started.
And the
Okay.
place was already called Orange Cup.
It was called
Java.
just Java Station.
Oh,
Yeah,
Java
Java
Station.
Java Station Espresso.
Okay. Okay.
And we weren't quite sure if we had the good solid name rights to just Java Station Espresso. And my favorite color was orange. And I looked up to the sign to say, how can we marry Java Station with something orange? And lo and behold, the original sign, even though it was a little bit faded, had an orange tilted cup on there. And it was a little bit faded out. I'm like, oh, well, let's just call it Orange Cup Java Station. And that's how that started.
That's awesome.
Then we had a barista contest to create the logo.
Yeah.
The
I remember
the
that.
logo today.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and so that's how we came up with the logo today. So the name
Yeah.
and the logo.
What did you guys do different between compared to the Java Station before and after you guys became owner? What did you guys do like as soon as you bought it? Did you change anything when it comes to what you offer, the type of drinks?
Yes and yes. So the rebranding came a little bit later in it when it went from Java to Orange Cup and all the new logo and all that kind of stuff. But you know, we realized that maybe we needed to be open longer, and it seemed like when we added a barista, business grew, and we added a barista and business grew. We added a line of drinks that were new and business grew. And we lost a couple people along the way, we gained a couple people along the way, but it seemed like everything that we offered, we began a collaboration with Carriage House for pastries. Literally introduced scones to half of Galesburg because they didn't know what a scone was. What else?
I would say initially when we first bought the business, we made a concerted effort not to do anything, just to sit back. It had been running well. It was making money, not much, but it wasn't the other way around. It wasn't in arrears. And so we bought it in June of 2017 and decided just let things go as they are. I was a happy customer, right?
Right.
I was a happy customer. My area of expertise in my former life was in food purchasing. And so I thought if anything that we could do, we could maybe reduce costs on the purchasing side, right? So that's all that I wanted to dabble in. Didn't want to change anything at all about the experience at the window or the relationship at the window, as we call it. In November of 2017, so 5 months later after we bought it, just when we were getting our sea legs and all, I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I went on an 18-month journey, we did. We actually sort of moved to Chicago for me to go into treatment at Northwestern. And so we were gone for, just coming back on the weekends for probably our first real year of being in business, year and a half. And so, but we trusted our people. They were empowered completely to do the things that they had always done and known to do. We not let them, we encourage them to be creative. We just say yes to them. And so, we got finished with treatment. We came back full-time to Galesburg, and then we decided, it was just before the pandemic, and then we decided, let's do something fun and rebrand this. And so, very often we would get asked, oh, do you sell stamps there?
Right by the
What is that
boxes.
place?
Right.
We've never seen that. What is that place? It just has cars parked by it. And so some friends of ours and us decided to do just a total rebrand and the giant cup and something that was very eye-catching and beautiful. And we did that in the course of 24 hours on a Sunday afternoon. Once we had it all done, we gutted the entire place, got all new cabinets, all new equipment, all new paint job, and just opened back up on a Monday, fresh like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that changed everything.
Yeah.
At that point, we were probably having, we were probably up to maybe 15 to 18 baristas at that time. And then when the pandemic came, we couldn't be busy enough. I mean, we couldn't fit enough people into that little 216 square foot
Right.
box. So 5 people, 5 baristas, as much as can be there. 2 on each window, and somebody backing them up as like a barista back. And that was just the way it was during the entire pandemic. And it was incredible, and it still is, no doubt.
It's
Yeah.
amazing what, as we call it, the little box of sunshine, what the little box can produce. I mean, it is tight. It's not wide enough. It could be bigger. It will never be bigger, at least unless we tear it down and rebuild, which I don't have any plan to do that. But it's amazing what we do out of there, and what they do out of there.
Oh, of course, yeah.
If you get up and go to the restroom, she might make a deal to make it bigger.
That's why I just stay in my chair.
Yeah.
Well,
But no, that
speaking of restroom, that's the most asked
Oh, yeah.
question that we get about Java Station is,
Right.
is there a restroom in there?
Where the baristas go to.
yeah.
There's one in there.
Yeah,
In
there's
fact,
one in there?
In fact, there is an ADA compliant restroom in there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the
So there would have to
largest
be.
piece in there, the largest thing in there is that restroom.
Wow.
So think
Yeah.
about that.
We
You know,
did.
one thing I love about the place, from a consumer, almost just like you said, is before you purchased it, the staff is just such a happy, what can I do for you? And what I think a lot of that goes to is creating an environment that is fun to work at. And then when you see, for an example, you guys had a gal, and I think her mother's house had burnt down.
Her house, yeah.
And so I mean, you guys quickly were taking donations, contributing, helping people. I mean, that's what this whole community really thrives on.
Yes.
And I guess what I would like to pat on your back, if you will, is realizing the stronger our employees are, the stronger we're going to be. Instead of like, a lot of times that gets twisted around, like I'm the boss and you're going to do.
Right.
Like, you guys have created just an amazing environment in there, and
Thank
you
you.
can tell it on your
It
people's face.
really started with Melany empowering some young people to make decisions with guidance, giving them the freedom to kind of take control of the reins, Monday through Sunday. A lot happened during the pandemic. We created the Baristas for a Cause that you mentioned just recently. We had Lakota and Capri. The community really stepped up for that.
For sure.
It was huge.
That was awesome.
great.
Well, it was
great.
life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, it was wonderful. When I went into F&M Bank during that time, we opened up an account for them there, which I guess, we have done that for maybe 1 or 2 other children, small kids, but never for like an adult. We'd usually the whole premise behind our Baristas for a Cause is that we want to be able to give something to someone face to face that makes an impact to that person and to the situation that they're in. That's why we don't do it for like like an organization. We do it for a person and their story. And so everybody knew both of those girls. They've been longtime baristas at our place. And I walked into F&M after opening that bank account, and one of the gentlemen there said, I just want to let you know how heartwarming it's been for us to have people just walking in and they just ask one question: is this where we give the money for the fire?
Yeah.
They say, yes, it is. And he said it described an elderly person with a cane coming in, giving $1,000 in cash just to donate to that cause.
That's so crazy.
That's
and like
So-
that's what our community is so great. We do these food drives, and same thing. People will pull up and just give you $400 or $500.
Yes.
Right.
and and it'll happen all day long.
Yes.
And it's such a, you watch the news long enough, you think the whole world's falling apart and nobody cares. The reality is that there is still a whole lot of people that are out
For
here
sure.
passionate,
For sure.
having fun, loving, and caring. It's just unfortunate that doesn't make the news as much because
Yes.
it doesn't get as many clicks.
Right.
We've talked about, it could say, boy saves dog and 3 children from drowning in a river, and that'll get like 112 clicks, but it says like man punches cop, and you get 35 million.
Right. Right.
So it's just kind of the world we're in, but it's
Yeah.
true.
Yes.
That was
sure.
a couple months ago, right? At least.
Yeah.
And
The
it
fire?
and maybe 2 weeks ago we received another inquiry from somebody that, sorry, hope I'm not too late, but we're moving or we're downsizing, whatever, and we've got some clothes that are in pretty new condition. Could we still bring them over? Absolutely.
It was life-changing for them, no doubt.
And the best part about it, when something like that happens, I mean, it makes people like that even more aware, like down the road. It's not to go back to the food drives, but there's so many people that will come over and say, hey, looking like maybe not in a position to give, but they say, hey, this place helped me and my family growing up. And they're like, giving money. And it's just like that, it changes. Like you said,
does.
life-changing, your mindset, your heart.
Yes.
So it's really cool.
When it comes to the good customer service, did you guys do any type of work when it comes to training, the type of relationship you will have with the client? Tell us about.
Well, I think the foundation of it was to acknowledge and improve, not even improve, just acknowledge and pay respect to the fact that there's a relationship at the window. It's the person, the drink is being prepped or is already on the counter when the person pulls up. Why? Because our people know our customers, right? And that's kind of where the foundation is. And just build around the customer relationship. We created teams of merchandise team, drink creation team,
Social media
team,
culinary team.
Yeah.
People so we have 42 baristas now. I think it's important to lay out that context, and we can go back to, to why that is with having the new location too. But with that many people, everything that we do comes up organically from the staff.
Yeah.
So with us creating those teams, and it's all volunteer. They get paid for it, but they volunteer for what team they want to be on. And then we don't restrict anyone as in terms of how many times they meet, for how long they meet. If they want to meet, every day, okay. We just let them do their thing. And, that's where all of our boards come up, our monthly boards that are done. And all the drinks, except for we've had one that came up through a customer. The entire board came up for their customer. They just gave it to us and said, "Hey, this would be great." And we're like, "You're right, it would be great." But we have a training team, just a group of people that are helping each other succeed. And when you're in, all of our people started, maybe the exception of 1 or 2 now at the new location, but we hired all of those people before the new location was open. Okay. So everybody took a ride through Java Station and saw what it's like to work in the 216 square feet. And a lot comes from that. It's kind of like all I learned in kindergarten or whatever. It's the same thing there. It's like we didn't do any of the hiring. We did none of the hiring. Our management team and our barista team did the hiring for those locations because they know what it takes, and they know the right question to ask a person, and they know, they know to say to them, "Hey, be honest. If this isn't for you, it's not for everyone." Right. I mean, there's a lot of math aptitude that's required. We do a drink in any kind of possible way you can imagine. And if we have 5 or 6 flavors in a drink, and then you take all the different sizes, those are multiple pumps or non-pumps of X, Y, and Z times whatever size.
Right.
So it's like, and then you need to do that fast, real fast. right?
And someone like breathing down your shoulder
And
because
breathing,
they're
right.
because they're
Well,
right there.
yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
the uniqueness to be able to choose who your teammate is, you know, that you're going to go into the trenches in a small building.
Yeah.
I mean, the hustle's a little
That's
bit bigger,
important.
but it's still a little crowded behind the bar when there are 5 people. So, but to be able to, know that, okay, I think that person I could work with and that person I could work with, and they're going to be my teammates. And then something just came up the other day. One of our baristas was, if you heard this, it was out at the hustle. Hey, I have an idea. If everybody says, oh, excuse me, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me, excuse me, pardon me. How about we just do a 1 shift, all in, I'm sorry, pardon me. and for the person that keeps saying it, put something in a jar. This is Mary Warrenson who had this idea. Put something in a jar, and by New Year's Eve, there could be a bunch of money in there, and we'll raffle it off to somebody. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it happens all the time. Just oh, I'm sorry. I bet I say it 10 times a day if I'm in there, or more.
Well, and
They're
here,
going to all be bumping into me now.
right.
So I say, oh, I'm sorry. There he is. Cha-ching.
Exactly, $1.
That's funny.
Well, here is, I'll give you a tiny example. I'm gonna look at my phone for a second. But yesterday, we had an example. So we have a group barista chat, 2 different ones. And it has all of our baristas in it, and it just dings, somebody's asking somebody a question. So yesterday, I get this ding at 3:30 in the afternoon. Kelsey says, how many pumps of cotton candy in the ice cream tea? Aaliyah answers, 8. Aaliyah then says, Planet Fitness worker, glasses? Lakota, another barista, jumps in and says, her name is Brianna, steeped the tea for a good period of time. She said it was very light last time. Thank you.
Right.
This is a drink.
A drink.
Right.
And this is now literally 40 people because everybody's getting the notification.
Right.
And that's both locations talking to each other to get that person the right drink and to go ahead and say, customer wasn't 100% happy last time. It might be a little bit too light.
That's
So,
good. That's great.
I mean,
communication.
that's what we do.
Right.
And
That's awesome.
I don't know what the recipe for that is other than just encouraging them.
Well, let's talk about that new location.
Yes.
So at one time was a car shop, a
Car
car
center.
detail.
Yep.
Galesburg Car Care is what I believe it was called.
So we heard through
You
the
have to tell
grapevine.
somebody.
We heard through the grapevine that it was going to be on the market.
Yeah.
And Jeff Klink owned it
Yeah,
at the time.
Mr. Klink.
Reached out to Jeff.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd love to show it to you. At the time, it was still Car Care Center, and he gave me the keys one day and said, "Yeah, we'll go look at that." We do. Here you go, Jeff. We're going to talk about it. Just drive it for a couple days.
Just keep the keys.
Keep the keys. Bring it back Monday, as if it was a
Right.
Nissan Altima or something.
Right.
So we go back the second time. It's we see some things we didn't see before. Well, just hang on to them. And about the third time, I think we're going to do this. And so we bought it. And for the first 8 weeks or more, maybe first 3-4 months, we would be cleaning. We didn't start construction yet. The original sign is still out front, Car Care Center. The big orange cup is on the front window. Is
Like
giant
coming
thing.
soon.
Coming
Yeah.
soon. And I mean every other day, someone would come in, throw keys on a counter, and walk away. No. We're not doing cars anymore. Yeah. Someone would come. We'd show up, and there'd be a set of keys on the top of a tire. Someone left their car there overnight, so we could detail it the next day. Oh yeah, we had people that came in and parked right in front of the big orange thing,
Yeah.
walking to a staff meeting. We're 30 people in it. Yeah, I just left my car out front. Oh, sorry. We had one that the owner was dead. Okay?
That's true. That is.
And it wasn't a stolen car, but it went through the family and sat in our lot for 3 days before we could figure it out. Yeah, so we bought that.
That doesn't happen anymore, right?
No.
No, it doesn't happen
Um,
anymore. But we then went through multiple iterations of what is it going to be because
Oh, yeah.
the first and second time we gave the keys back to Jeff was because it's like, nah, it's not the right location. Nah, we're in the double drive-through business. Nah, we don't want to be in the restaurant business. etc. And then we did. And it was like sort of in the middle of the pandemic, and we started having some serious conversations about, wow, we can't get cups. Wow, cups are getting difficult to find. Our first supplier called us and said, I don't know how to tell you this, but we've got like a week and a half worth of cups for you guys. Oh, well, that's a problem. Right? So we went and begged, borrowed, and stole to find cups for our business. So we bought a year's worth of cups for Java Station.
Multiple
And we're
thousands.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be like 24 pallets of cups are coming in here in the next, whatever.
Right.
And we need a place for them. So then we ended up, well, gee, that car wash might be a good place to store cups. And so that's what we did.
Yeah.
And so that we have photos of that place stuffed to the gills with cups, because it's not just cups. I say cups, but it's cups, lids,
Right.
cups
Straws.
of different sizes,
The little
clear cups,
outside.
hot cups,
Yeah.
lids for cups, dome lids, flat lids, sip lids.
Crazy.
It's
Right.
it's a combination of stuff.
Not thinking at all, of course, that sooner or later there's going to be so much construction that starts there, and this stuff needs to go somewhere.
Right.
And we didn't have a plan. And almost as quickly as we bought that building, the building across the street came available too, what we call 26. I don't know what we would have done had we not bought that building, because we
Right.
had thousands and thousands and thousands of stuff in there. So that was another move. We had to move all that over there, right, to start construction here. We had a plan. We went to California for my birthday in November that year, to the Bay Area Coffee Fest, to come back with some ideas that we could really put into play at the new location, or at Job Station 2. Got out there, met some young people, roasting coffee, spent some time with them, changed our whole concept, because in Monterey, they had a building very similar to ours, only was smaller. And we knew the moment we walked in, we looked at each other. We didn't say the long and winding road, but we looked at each
I thought we were
other
about to do it again.
and knew that we were doing it the wrong way.
Right.
And so we had to reset, speed forward. Now not a year, 8 months later, the roasting manager from Captain Stoker, which is in Monterey, has been at the hustle with us, talking coffee. We're in the process of trying to create another collaboration with that outfit from California.
Sweet.
And just, it's just taken off that way. I don't know what we would have, had we not gone to the Coffee Fest, that drive-through would have been, on the other end of the building. Who knows?
Yeah, we were planning on doing the drive-through in our storage area and putting our storage of all cups for both locations, where we now have
In the
tables
bays.
in the bays.
Right. Well, I'm glad you didn't do that.
That was our
because
plan.
That place is, I love that
Yeah.
place. It's
We do
beautiful.
too.
It's inviting.
Yes.
And then especially with those doors.
Yes.
I mean, gosh, that just really adds a whole lot of character to
But
it.
going from the double drive-through to a big physical place where people can come and sit, what was the main point that you guys were like that you made the decision to buy that, and what made you guys think that would definitely work? I mean, it would be a completely different thing from the
I think
drive-through.
we're built it, they will come kind of people.
We are,
Um,
but asking our people.
yeah,
asking
Oh,
customers
yeah.
or employees.
Both.
both.
Okay.
But first, before we ask customers, because we didn't want to ask our customers yet until we asked our people.
Right.
We're like, guys, so we've talked now for 3 or 4 years about let's get a second location. Everybody assumed it was just going to be a double drive-through, and then maybe another and another and another,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But we're like, well, what do you think about this? And it's like an anomaly. It's different than we do. It's not our normal thing. But do we have the buy-in? Do you guys want to do that? Are we committed to that? Because, for the first time, we're going to have real money in something, right? Not like Java
Right.
Station, small investment. So we want to make sure that they felt comfortable and that they wanted to do that.
But we also knew that in our travels, we go to places just like that.
Right.
Whether it's St. Louis, California, you name it, we seek out those kind of places. So we thought, well, we wanted to accomplish two things. One, we wanted to have a building all in, and when you walk in and kind of look to your left into the bays, the reaction for the first timer is, wow, this doesn't look like Galesburg. This looks like it should be somewhere else.
True.
We've heard that many times.
True.
That was one objective. The second objective was to let it organically happen. We didn't want to force it because we wouldn't know how to do it, if it would work or not. That it become a gathering place of some nature. It's become that. It's for multiple reasons: colleges, high schools, teams, businesses, remote workers, music that we have on Sundays now. It's become exactly that. And and today the ROE was there, Regional Office of Education, for a business before hours event.
Oh, yeah.
We do a few of those. It's become that. We had to do some work in the lobby. The lobby was hot, big glass.
Original glass.
We have shades, this and that. We ended up with a split unit on the wall, and that's become one of the most popular areas for people to sit in now, especially those who are studying or collaborating with somebody else, because it's a countertop and it's close quarters. But the doors, we've got the other two coming next
Screens.
week. The screens, health department requires that, but imagine all those up with the screens down.
Right.
It's just going to be even cooler.
Right.
So,
What do you guys think? Coffee's been around forever.
Yeah.
What on earth over the last, I don't know, 6-8 years, in my opinion, it has just boomed. Like, it just took off, and now there's coffee drive-through. Even the drive-throughs are almost everywhere.
In some ways, one of the largest retailers is probably to thank for some of that, because they started that second wave of going to a shop to order coffee, and even Starbucks has changed their approach now, right? It's become more artisanal than it was when they first opened that first store many years ago.
Right.
I think we talked bourbon earlier. We talked
Craft beer.
Bread making, all those kinds of artisanal cottage sort of things are booming. And we've been asked several times, are we at the limit yet in our area? I think we're close. I think we're getting there. We're grateful to. We knew it growing up in Galesburg. It was always clear to me that local matters. People appreciate local owners doing business in their town. So we're there a lot because of that. So that doesn't go unnoticed. We're grateful for where we've built this to, but know that I don't know if I wanted to be the last one to come to town, whoever that might be.
Right.
Because there's some established and other operations that we highly respect and we know. But I think we may have plateaued as a city, but who knows?
Yeah. I would think we're getting there. I know we have a couple more. I hear words of a couple others coming and being built, and sure. Location, I think you guys probably have one of the best advantages, just in my opinion, between the two.
Yeah.
And man, I think it doesn't hurt. Almost being the first and being able to, the baristas are what's going to make it.
Yep. You know what's interesting too, Lauren, is that we when we opened the Hustle, we thought we could just take all 40 of our employees and kind of do a scheduling matrix that put some people at Java, some people at the Hustle, others at Java, rotated around kind of thing. And we initially asked where our baristas wanted to work, but we didn't, or where they didn't want to work, but we didn't ask why. And when we got to the why question, it wasn't what we thought it would be. And that led us to creating pretty well-defined teams, although there's some crossover now between the Hustle and Java. Some of it is socializing. At the Hustle, you're in the open. You are entertaining. You are what you're doing is seen by everybody. The little box you've seen from the waist up. They don't know if you're wearing long pants or shorts or tennis shoes or flip flops, right? But everybody's exposed at the hustle, and it just kind of happened naturally.
Yeah.
And with some exceptions, we've got a handful of young people that came in and wouldn't look me in the eyes, and we've seen them. I saw one. I won't mention a name. McKenna. But I saw one literally in the window. There's no script. Your relationship, you build it on your words, your personality. And she did, and whatever she said came back to her like threefold. And she turned around, and I happened to be 4 feet standing there, which I'm not usually. And we met eyes. It was one of those things. Did you hear that? Like, I just came out.
I did it.
She just flowered right then, in front of us. And a couple others have done that. And we've got a couple others that started lately. They're probably going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
And this girl is 17 years old, and we usually hire folks that are last year a senior as they're in their work program, or first, second year, third year on into college. We've made some exceptions with a couple of folks that have been great team members that have retired recently as well. So we've got a mix of all kinds of different people. But this particular girl, we thought, let's challenge McKenna to take the food safety manager course at 17. Because so all of our people, so you have to have different levels of management courses, food safety, just the general certification just to work in the food industry, but then to serve certain levels of food service, you have to get a higher and higher food safety manager certificate. So let's challenge McKenna to take the course and see if she can do it. That was on a Thursday. I think on Monday she came back and brought her food safety manager course. Here, I did that. Oh, okay. And then the next was, because we went from a level 3 food safety to a level 1 because we decided to do extended food service or food items. And so with that comes the allergen course too. We said, we all need to take the allergen course now. Boom, there's the allergen course. So the 17-year-old then has the highest levels of certification, and all of that's what we want, is for them to be able to have whatever level of education, of dreaming they can do for themselves personally.
How did you guys do the transition from only selling drinks to selling food as well, to having a menu? How did you choose the menu? And go ahead.
Well, it started with our customers saying, the coffee's great, the drinks are great. I'd like a little something to eat.
What can we eat?
What can we have to eat?
I'm hungry.
Yeah. And we started small.
Yeah. We had the plan with both Carriage House, which we've done that local collaboration since the pandemic. That was his idea. It was like literally the day that we'd been talking about, we should probably collaborate with Carriage House. That would be good. And then during the pandemic, the day came when no one could go inside a restaurant, and they didn't have a drive-through. So we're like, they're going to be done if somebody doesn't step in right now. They're going to have to shut down. So we started buying all of our baked goods, and it just went crazy. Kept them afloat, and then when we decided to open up the hustle, we decided to do the same thing with Black Market Bagels.
Yeah, that
and
guy's great.
He's great. Yeah. Keith's great, and so. With each of those two, we don't carry every single thing that they carry. They keep something aside for themselves, and that's both request. Because it's like, what we don't want also is, I can only get Carriage House or only get Black Market there, and I never have to go to their store. That's not good either. We don't want that. And both of them sell coffee, but they don't do the things that we do, right? So we have our little edges there.
Yeah, it's win-win all the way.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah.
If it's a one-sided win, it's not a very long relationship.
Correct.
So I think a lot of people in business get that twisted. They think, in order for me to win, you have to lose.
Yeah.
That's not the case.
It is not the case.
There's enough out here, even like you were talking, other coffee shops. the ones before you, ones that will come after. I mean, we can all win out here.
Yes,
you know?
it's true.
It's
so
a
I
huge-
love that mindset.
It's a huge industry for sure.
I want to point something else on the food, just because I think it's important. Then people wanted to have more food, more than just a pastry or more than just a bagel. They wanted, can you do breakfast sandwiches? Can you do something in the midday? Because we knew, it wasn't our intention to be in the restaurant business.
Right.
But then it sure was quiet between 11:30 and 1 or 1:30 till people started coming in for drinks again. So Amanda, our general manager, she had a friend, LaToya Carson, with Next to the Salt Catering.
She does sweet.
And she does
Yeah.
amazing things. So we began with LaToya by buying her cheesecakes, her cheesecake cones, her mini cheesecakes, and then we came up with a collaboration together of a cheesecake sandwich, etc. And we just got our brains together and thought, what can we do? And what do you think would fly? What do you think would be great? What can we have common ingredients that cross each other, etc. And so we developed a menu together. And initially it was like, well, LaToya can just make them in her commercial kitchen and bring them to us. And she still does that with her cheesecakes because it's a very timed baking process that wouldn't work at our place. So she still brings cheesecakes to us, but everything else that we do there, we do now in-house, homemade, or house-made, with LaToya as the creator of those things. And it's just so fun to see all of us work together.
Yeah.
And it's literally everybody, every size, color, shape, nationality, sex.
One common theme, Melanie, is it's all networking.
Yeah.
It's all social. Like from the very original conversation with the man Jerry's, it's just talking.
Yes.
And the stronger the community, like I just love how you guys have managed to do that. And then also getting your team. I've always said as a business owner, if you can get your staff on board and feel like part of ownership, that's your first success and probably your most vital part.
Right.
Because now you have the buy-in. Once you have someone's buy-in and contribution, like this isn't just me, this is us.
Right.
What do you want to do?
Right.
So high five for you guys on that.
I mean, not
That is-
mentioning that they have 42 baristas and there are companies that can't find people to
Right.
hire.
Yeah, that's very true.
know?
We
That's
get
a
that
good
question
point.
all the time. Do you guys have people have a hard time finding staff?
No.
No.
But you have your employees out here talking to employees like, oh my God, I love this place. You should work here too. Instead of the other, where probably most business owners are out here trying to find them on their own.
Right.
Hear from Victor. He works here. Like that type of stuff. That's
Right.
awesome.
They oftentimes say people don't lead businesses, they lead people.
Right.
Or people don't pick a business, they pick people.
Right.
And we've always told our, we treat them like they're our own. We have our own. And I mean, a testament to that was Sunday. Bree Dietz, who was the college student that graduated on Sunday. We had her for 2 years, something like that. 3 years now. And she stayed over the summer, taking housing at Knox so she could work for us. And her mom and dad asked us to host the family dinner at the Side Hustle on Sunday after graduation. It was kind of a big deal.
That's cool.
Yeah, and caps and gowns were coming in and pictures were being taken. And, at some point, even with Knox students and Carl Sandburg students and Brova and all in, at some point, you realize, especially with college people, you're a senior this year. Yeah. So this just happened last week. Hey, Tom, you're moving back to Oregon. Yeah. We need to say goodbye. Yeah, I guess we do. Because we had seen each other from September to now.
Yeah.
And they're in there all the time. You build a relationship, and even it sounds kind of quirky, but so we said goodbye. Hey, well, I'll be back. I'll come back for the homecoming. Okay, well, we'll be here. That's
Right.
cool. We'll keep a table for you.
Yeah.
It's personal to me because I make it personal. It's personal to you because you make it personal. It's personal to our baristas because they're allowed to make it personal. We snuck in one time, a few months ago, 2 or 3 years ago. We thought maybe we should have our hands on some of the social media, and we tried it, and it was a disaster because we were saying, okay, So today's your day, this week is your week, whatever. And the employee would do, and every now and then it would be just, okay, well, it wasn't out of line. It just wasn't what I would have said, or whatever. But we realized we got pushback from our employees. Well, you took the personality of what we were doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Won't happen again.
Give it back.
So we've had our social. The social just was transitioned from Kaylee Miller, who's coaching summer basketball now, and then we'll go to ISU as a junior in the fall. We've got Katie Shepard stepping in to take that over. Katie's a barista, recent grad from high school, and I mean they know it. We don't know it.
Right.
They know it.
Do you guys have any sort of plan or idea to like your next venture? Or do you think, and not that you have to spill the beans on what it is, but do you guys see, or do you see kind of like, this is kind of it for us, we're happy with these two in the coffee world, or do you see even busting into another industry, or does it just depend if Scott goes to the bathroom again?
I said this is kind of it for us at Java Station.
Okay.
Really. And
Yeah.
now look where we are. So I could give you an
Who
answer.
knows?
Well, we always say that we wish we were 10 years younger.
20.
Or 20. But, there is a whole next gen of people. And, we don't have kids that are interested in our business in terms of that we're aware of.
I'm going to talk to
And
you again tomorrow.
That we've talked to. But we get inquiries all the time. Can you put a Java station here? Could you open this as a gas station here?
Right.
Could you take this old one here? We're going to get this first year under our belt. We lapse to the first year, September 15th. It'll be a year at the Hustle already. And I can totally see another double drive-through, or more. The whole sit-down restaurant thing, it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
You have to be there 24/7.
Big commitment.
Understood. We'll see.
Good. Good.
How much of your guys' time does the hustle takes from you? Do you guys stay there a lot or nah?
We again, back to local ownership. For the first 5 months, we were there all the time.
Yeah.
Because we felt we needed to be to establish that we're not absent landlords, we're not absent owners.
Yeah.
This is ours. We've slowly gotten better at that. I mean, everybody needs time. We need time away.
We often will take him a day by himself, me a day by myself,
Yeah.
like that.
Sure.
Instead of multiple days off together. That's
Yeah.
not what we do yet.
My expertise is very different than Melanie's expertise. How do I say this?
What do you mean?
She has her expertise is much more necessary on a daily basis than mine. I mean, I'm the front guy, because I know a lot of people. But I'm also the muffin man, or at least that's what they've called me. Is there a song, something like that?
I think so. We'll let you guys sing.
No, don't even do it.
But no, you have to bring. If you guys both brought the exact same thing to the table,
Yeah.
they'd be like, "Well, what good are you?" So you have to. And same thing with all of your baristas. I mean, they all bring
They
a
do.
little bit of something different.
Yep.
It's true.
And yeah, you guys got a great team, and it seems like you both work together really well, communicate, and empower your employees. I think
Yes.
that's one of the coolest things.
For sure.
We do.
For sure.
It's also one of our mantras early on was it's rising in the East, right? East Maine back in the day was a happening place.
Right.
I mean, way back in the day. Bowling alleys and ice cream joints and stuff like that. That's a long time ago. But the east end of town needs a little something else.
It does.
And we've got 26, what we call across the street. It stores equipment, it stores supplies. It's probably going to store my roaster in soon. I roast coffee in the garage now, but and someone said to us, "Oh, you guys know what you're doing. You bought 2 corner buildings." Yeah, yeah. course we did. Where else would you buy it? We were thinking they were corner buildings.
Right.
Remember that? Yeah, great. You bought 2 corner buildings.
Yeah.
But who knows what's going to happen on the East End? you know?
Right.
There's still property out there.
It's good land.
It's good land.
It is.
I was
Yeah.
reading the other day, McDonald's, everyone, we just think burgers, but they actually own the most real estate and the most premier real estate on top
Sure.
of that in the world.
Makes sense,
Because
yeah.
Right.
they were the OG.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
So I'm curious, before we cut out of here, what's your go-to drink at your own place? So what Scott and Melany get?
Mine happens to have a name. There's a cold drink and a hot drink. The cold drink is called the Baldy. If you came in tomorrow and ordered the Baldy,
Okay.
you would get this drink. It's a
And
lemon.
it's not just because
No. Baldwin, I've been Baldy. My kids like, we got Baldies all over the family. It's a lemon lime syrup with 3/4 plus club soda and a splash of Monster. It is the most satisfying cold drink you can have. The effervescence, it's like a 7-Up meets, I don't know.
Baldy.
Yeah,
The
that's
Baldy.
7-Up means Baldy.
7-Up meets Gatorade
Yeah.
plus
Kind of.
some
It is. It's
Sparkle.
just-
That's cool. I'll have to try that one.
The
Just
muffin-
ask her a
the muffin
Baldy.
guy.
Only a little bit of
Yeah, the
Monster,
Muffin
so
Man.
it's not a bunch
Muffin
of
Man.
Monster drink.
Right.
So the hot one is the salted Baldy. I didn't name these, okay?
Okay.
It started as salted, or it started salty. I don't know, it's salted now, but it's a salted caramel latte, hot latte. It could be cold too,
Sure.
but I drink it hot.
All right. So a salty
excellent.
Baldy or just
Just
the
a Baldy.
iced or
Just a
cold
Baldy.
Baldy.
Yep.
All right.
That's it.
The cold Baldy.
Yeah. Melanie, what about you?
For me, it would be a salted vanilla latte. I mean, that's just so lame, to be honest, considering the thousands of syrups we do. It's like the cobbler has no shoes. But that's what I do. Or a dreamsicle monster, because I love the orange flavor, the orange,
okay.
the cream, plus the effervescence of the monster is delicious.
I want to try that one.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
I'm
so
a
good.
white mocha. The white.
Oh, yeah.
White mocha, warm or cold, I don't care.
Yes.
That's my go-to.
So then you should have the Amanda, which is named after Amanda. And so it has toasted marshmallow, white chocolate, and
Some cold foam.
cold foam.
Ah,
Delicious.
you got to
Coffee, I
go-to?
always the only thing I drink is cold brew with a splash of creamer, and that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it. Is there a name for that? No, right?
Cold brew
The
with a
Victor.
splash of cream. The Victor.
Called the Victor now.
Well, so you
We're
can
taking
have-
bids right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so how about the peanut butter drinks?
Oh, there's one. It's a PB&J cold foam. Imagine when you take a bite of a peanut butter sandwich, the first thing you get is the peanut butter, right? This is a layered drink. So the second bite of the sandwich, there comes the jelly, and then from there, it's pretty much a best bite all the time. This is, it can be had with either grape or strawberry cold foam. So PB&J grape jelly, PB&J strawberry jelly. The first pull, there's the peanut butter. The second pull, there's a jelly, and then from there on out, it's a liquid PB&J. And I've had hey everybody, you need to come and taste this.
Right.
It's crazy.
That's
So
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a drink for everybody.
There's
I
a
want to
drink
try
for
that one
everybody.
too.
It's
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
But always, the biggest, burliest guys always order the little teeniest drinks
it
like
foo-foo.
the fluffy
Fluffy
bunny.
bunny.
Right, that's my
Fluffy
daughter's.
bunny.
The fluffy bunny is my daughter's jam.
It's a
I mean,
go-to.
can we get a
Yeah.
fluffy bunny today? Sure.
Exactly.
And sometimes they don't want to say it. Like we know so many people's like secrets, right?
Right.
Like what they really have in their cup. We
Yeah.
often know. Oh, 12 shots of espresso. Oh,
Yeah.
you've got.
We can sing them out.
Pardon me.
We can sing them out.
We could.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Hit
I
it.
know it's late.
I know you're weary.
That's it.
Guys, thank you so much
Very
for coming.
good,
And
very
we've been
good.
looking forward to this for quite a while.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm glad it worked out. I know you guys are very busy, so to get both of you here, but we're very thankful that you did it. Hopefully you enjoyed your time with
We
us.
did.
We did.
We had a great
Our
time.
pleasure.
But yeah, we'll
Thank
look
you
forward
very
to seeing
much,
you
guys.
guys at Orange Cup.
Okay.
So,
Good.
Melany and
Anytime.
Scott Baldwin, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Talk About It podcast. I'm Lauren Fulmer,
I'm Victor Dantas.
and we'll see you on the next episode as you hit subscribe right now.
See you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode of the Talk About It podcast.
I'm Victor Dantas.
I'm Lauren Fulmer.
And we would encourage you guys to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell. It's going to be right below the video. So you
Hit
guys,
the bell.
so you know when the next episode is up. All
We
right?
appreciate all the support.
Thank you.